Hey, okay, I'm gonna try this again. I tried to record this on Saturday, actually, and then the whole program crashed at the very, very last second, and I lost all of it. And I'm really glad that happened. It's wonderful. So let's do all this over now. So, out of the shower just recently, which is why all this looks so good. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyway, everyone knows you get all the best thoughts in your shower. Anyway, so all this was prepared. Then I wanted to make a video, another one of these because it was kind of fun last time, explaining what's been going on the last week because it was fun last time. Do it again. So all that medical nonsense went down, and sorry for all the slowness. It's mostly due to all of that. And I just kind of wanted to say it sucks for me too. You know, slowness on the channel isn't any fun to go through as a viewer, and it's not fun for me either. To explain what all's been happening with that, basically I have, like, you can't see it in there really, there's like a board of crap. I have appointments and nonsense and just nonsense loaded up for the next, like, 3 months. I'm gonna have to be just going from city to city, loading it up on appointments and doing various things. I have so much to do. And if you've ever been in a situation like that where you've had to go from an appointment to another place to get referred to another place to another appointment and just kind of do this sort of back and forth thing for a while, it kind of takes a toll on you and makes you really tired. And it makes you want to do not a lot else for a while. So that would explain the slowness and the not very many videos, although I am kind of pleased with myself in a way that I've actually been able to get even a couple of videos out over the last couple of weeks while all this has been happening. So at least that's something. I had to go and do Monday, the 26th was my 26th birthday, and the day after that I had to go and do a CT scan and an MRI on the same day, which kind of sucked, as well as another appointment on that very same day. I had to do 3 different things in 2 different cities. It sucked. But the CT scan wasn't that bad. I've had all of these done before, but the CT scan was, you have to have an IV in your arm, which isn't a problem. I mean, as you can probably tell from all this, I'm not really afraid of needles at all, but they inject you via the IV with this stuff called contrast dye, which lights up your veins and arteries in the scan so they can see better your circulation and what's going on. Depending on what sort of organ they're scanning, they want to know the blood flow. They want to look for blockages, alterations, anomalies in general. For me, it was my brain. And, man, it's getting real bright in here all of a sudden. It makes me look even paler than I actually am. That's a feat in and of itself. Yeah, during all of this process, I hate this contrast dye stuff, to be honest with you. The needle in and of itself isn't a problem. The dye sucks. It makes me really shaky. It's really warm. It's like an unnatural warmth because the dye is warmer than you are, like a lot warmer than your body temperature. It feels hot, but underneath your skin you feel this warmth like inside. It's weird. It actually kind of feels like you pee yourself, to be honest with you, because your heart pumps it through your whole body, and when it reaches like your kidneys and stuff, it's weird. But yeah, it's very uncomfortable, and it just makes me shake and feel awful for about 2 hours. But once that was over, I had to go and get an MRI, and I've been through MRIs before, it's not a big deal, but this one was different. I've never been through this particular kind of MRI. This is starting to dry now and feel real poofy. And this particular MRI was, I don't know, I'm sure it has a name, like a blank MRI, like a letter suffix, but I don't know it for this, because like I said, I've never seen this machine before. It was like the size of the entire room. And you had to sit there for so long. They actually gave you music. They had Pandora, and they pumped like cheesy death metal into it for me. It was amazing. It was an incredible experience. They give you these specialized headphones to wear that were actually safe to use in the machine because, of course, you can't bring any sort of magnetic materials or metal or anything. I have to take all this out. You have to take all the stuff out of your pockets, you know, phone, headphones, wallet, and put it in a locker. Go through a metal detector and lay in the machine. And they give you, you know, like a blood pressure cuff, the squeezy thing that, you know, it goes around your arm and they squeeze it to make it puff up and check your blood pressure. It's like the thing that they squeeze. They give one of those to you because the machine is so loud they can't hear you. So if you're like screaming lots of obscenities at them to get their attention, they can't hear you. So they give you that to squeeze and it sets off an alarm to get their attention. So if you're like experiencing massive pain because you have something going wrong, that gets their attention. Luckily I never had to use that. But you never know. And yeah, it takes a very long time. They put this big pillow, sort of foam block thing underneath your legs, underneath your knees to elevate your legs. And they also, one thing I've never seen before, like I said, this was a different kind of MRI. They have this big like assembly of tubes and mirrors that they put right on top of your head. It like it's really close to your face. Like this mirror comes like right in front of your eyes, like really close. And it's sort of prism shaped, and so there's a bunch of other mirrors, and what I mean by like prism shaped is you can look up directly up at it and you can simultaneously see your own forehead and your legs at the same time because it's sort of a prism. It was weird. And then they launch you up on the machine and you have to sit there as still as you can for about half an hour while it rotates and makes all sorts of weird noises, and it actually shakes your entire body quite a bit. It's weird. Very strange. I've never been through that particular kind of MRI before. But yeah. And metal. And like I said, metal happens in your ears. Which is good. So once that was over, I went home and lay down for a while because I was exhausted and had lots of water. And no, the contrast dye does not make your pee glow. I get asked that a lot by all kinds of people. Well, it doesn't make it visibly glow. I don't know if it would glow like under a black light or something. That would be awesome. I should test that. Anyway, also, since it was my birthday, I got some things for myself, like something I've always wanted to try. If I can lift it up in front of the camera. These, yeah, yes, maybe. These are like a Japanese soda that I've always wanted to try. Ramune, they're like a marble sealed soda from Japan. And I've always just found them kind of a really interesting idea. And I felt like a model there for a minute. And the idea is they're sealed with a clear marble. The whole thing's glass. And I just, I've always wanted to try them. It was my birthday, what the hell. Splurge out a bit and grab some. And the idea is they have this little plunger thing on top. And you pop this out of there. And that's how you open it. You just shove this thing in there. I'm going to get away from my sensitive electronics that don't like liquids. And you just pop that in there. Marble drops down. And you can drink it. And these, that looks like a face. Hello. And these little grooves here are meant to capture the marble so that when you tip it, the marble doesn't come back up. It can't like choke you to death or anything. It won't come out of the hole. The hole is smaller than the marble. But it's to prevent it from coming back up and blocking the hole and like pissing you off because you can't get anything to drink. It stops it right there. And this is the original flavor. It tastes like original. And if I remember correctly what everyone said, the original is kind of like a lemony, almost bubblegum-like flavor because of the origins of this stuff. It used to be when lemonade was brought to Japan. It's kind of like led to the creation of this stuff in general, so the original flavor has like a lemony hint to it because of those origins. I want to try it. Oh yeah, it tastes a lot like bubblegum actually, with like a lemony kick at the end. That's delicious. And there's other flavors too, like for instance, lychee. Read it, it's really bright. Lychee. What the hell is lychee? Lychee is a I think it's a nut, isn't it, or a fruit? They call it a lychee nut sometimes. I'll look this up. Lychee is a fruit, but it is sometimes called a nut when it is dried. Okay, so it's hard on the outside and it is a fleshy white flavored inside. White flavored? What does white taste like? So yeah, and it looks like that, vaguely. This was also really tasty. I got like an 8-pack of these off of Amazon because I figured, you know, it was my birthday. Let's try something new. Something I've always wanted to try and probably won't get the chance to try again for like a long time. And I'm kind of collecting the bottles because they're really neat. I'm just washing them out so they don't have like a sugary syrup or anything in them after they're empty. And I know that some people like break these and collect the marbles on the inside, but I'm just going to keep the whole bottles, I think. Find a place to keep them. They're a little noisy. And they come in all kinds of weird flavors. And they're a lot different than the sodas we have here in the States in terms of like the taste and stuff, because they're made with sugar instead of corn syrup for one. None of them have any caffeine in them for another, which I kind of like. Over here you need to have, like, you have to find a specifically either 0 caffeine version of a soda, or you have to find a soda that has no caffeine in it, like Sprite. Sprite has no caffeine. But these guys, all the flavors that I've found, they just don't have caffeine at all, which is kind of cool. And they just don't have a lot else in them, which is kind of nice. Like, you know, they're just like sugar, water, and the flavor. And they're all like naturally flavored, which is kind of cool. Although I don't know what naturally original is. I'm not sure where you find original. Somewhere. But yeah, they're really kind of just an interesting little side note thing to try. They're a little pricey though, unless you can find an import shop around, which this is Indiana. We don't got none of those around here. So I had to get them off of Amazon, and they're a bit pricey on there to ship and just to get a hold of in general. There's like 25 bucks for a pack of 8 of these, which, like I said, that's not something I can just go out and do all the time. But for a once-off little thing for my birthday gift to myself, why not? It was a fun little experience to have, and they were delicious. All of them were tasty. Even the peach one. I got a peach one, and normally I hate peach-flavored everything. Peach is just not but the peach one was awesome. It was really tasty. I guess because it was natural peach flavor instead of like whatever the disgusting version of like artificial peach grossness we have over here is, that gives me a headache. They have some really weird flavors too that I like to try. They have like yuzu and champagne and muscat, which I had to look up what the hell muscat was. It's like it's a type of grape, I think. And yeah, so I'm definitely going to try and get a hold of more of those at some point, but I might have to like knock off a bank or something because they're kind of expensive. But anyway, I heard this was a video game channel at some point, so let's talk about video games real quick. I'm thirsty. Oh, that's good. Really very bubblegum. Yes. So, I wanted to talk about some of the things I'm going to cover. And also, I wanted to present a list of some of the stuff that's going to be coming out soon. And ask you guys, because I'm not going to have the money, personally, to just buy everything, because there's several really interesting things that I would like to cover coming out soon or now. I would like to ask if there's things that you personally would like to prioritize and say this one, like, if I was to list like 3 and you were to say, yeah, that one, like if you were to maybe just get one of those, that one would be the one I would prefer. You know what I mean? And also, if you guys have maybe a list of things, more obscure things, because I'm going to be listing mostly like kind of mainstream stuff right now. If you have like a kind of some under the radar obscure things to check out and you want to maybe like post some links or some names or whatever, I would absolutely love to check those out and see if any of them pique my interest, because like I said, with all of the crap that's been going on, I have not had the time to do my normal delving into more obscure indie stuff recently that I normally love to do. So if that can happen, I would appreciate it, because I love to do that sort of thing. So sweet. Either way, so for March, we've got some pretty cool stuff going on. For one, Into the Breach, the new game by Subset, the FTL developers. I've been playing that for the last day or two, and the game is incredible. It's really good. It has that FTL magic, that feeling of always being just like one step away from just pure shit show disaster. I love the crap out of it. It's so good, and I'm definitely going to keep playing it, and I'm absolutely going to cover it. They sent me a key. It's mind-bogglingly good. It's super super good. The music's great too. I don't know if they got Ben Prunty back from FTL to. Well, he's not from FTL. He's done all kinds of things, but they got him to do the music for FTL. Is what I mean. I don't know if they got him back again to do the music for this one, but either way, it's so good. If you don't know anything about Into the Breach, it's almost Advance Wars-esque. It is a turn-based tactical mech sort of RPG that is on a grid, very movement and positioning based. Lots of moving the enemies away from specific squares and moving your, mechs and tanks around to it's very positioning based, and positioning your enemies and yourselves is very important. Pulling and pushing enemies is very important because there's lots of linear attacks, and you have to protect cities and yourselves, and almost everything is a resource. So the health of your mechs and machines, the health of the power grid, and you have to sort of see what you are willing to give up on a given turn sometimes, because your mechs actually heal at the end of combat, and stuff like that, to kind of determine what you feel is actually worthwhile, what you feel is worth maybe giving up to get a better turnout at the end, maybe complete all the optional objectives and get better gear and things like that. It's awesome. It is so good. The pixel art for it is phenomenal, and the actual progression is a lot better, I think, than FTL, because if you've ever played FTL, the main form of progression was unlocking new ships, and that was done via achievements, but it was done in a kind of a rigid way. You had to get a very specific achievement to get a specific ship, which meant the progression of actually getting new stuff was very linear. You had to do this to get this one, to get this one, which allowed you to get the event to get this one. If you wanted to unlock a specific thing, there was a ladder to climb to get to that specific thing. And this, the progression is kind of twofold. You can get new pilots, which you just get randomly by finding them, and you can also get new squads of mechs and tanks and the like. And those you get by getting achievements, but the achievements give you coins, and you can just spend the coins on whichever squads you want. You can unlock them in basically whatever order you please, which is really cool. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be showing that off because it's sort of like a new addiction right now, and I have already failed once because it's really freaking hard. And I also like that, unlike the sectors in FTL where you sort of always start at the beginning and you branch off to whatever areas you want. I talk with my hands a lot, I'm sorry. In this game, you actually start on an island, and you choose the sections of the island you want to go to. Once you've completed an island, you actually unlock it, so you can start on other islands. The beginning isn't always the same thing repeatedly. Different islands have different challenges, and they scale up in difficulty not by the island, but by how many islands you've cleared by that point. So this allows you to experience a different beginning each time if you want to. There's really good design decisions here. It's an excellent game so far. Also, I got a bit of a surprise this morning. Spellforce 3, the publisher for Spellforce 3, THQ Nordic, actually sent me a key for it. I think that's the first time I've ever gotten a key for any sort of near like AAA publisher ever. I've never ever gotten anything like that before. I was really genuinely surprised. I've been wanting to try Spellforce 3 because it looks really interesting, that sort of RTS RPG hybrid. I've never played a Spellforce game, and I really want to try it, so I'm going to be trying that now and definitely covering it because, holy crap, I've never gotten anything from anyone of that caliber before. I've always had to buy them. The first time I'm ever sent anything like that, of course I'm going to say yes and try it. There's no strings attached or anything, like I have to say nice things or whatever. It's just, here's a key, play it if you want. So I'm going to be playing it because I want. And also, if I can maybe, try it and show that I I care about the keys that I'm sent. Maybe when Darksiders 3 comes out, I can get a key from them for it. Maybe. Okay, anyway, Darksiders. But also the other releases that I wanted to kind of talk about. We're going to be seeing later on this month Far Cry 5. That's a thing, which I am excited for. I think Far Cry is a pretty good game series. I enjoy them. I think that it gets a bit of an unnecessary bit of hatred for what it is, because I think that some people kind of unnecessarily rag on its copy-paste nature, because I think the only big thing that's ever copy-pasted in a Far Cry game is its shooting mechanics. And I think if there's anything you're going to copy from a game like that, it should probably be the best part of it, which is its shooting. Its gunplay is actually really good. And if you're going to copy it from one game to another while changing something else, you should probably copy the shooting and then change the world and not anything else. At least that's what makes sense to me. And they've been advancing other parts of it from game to game, so I think that is the way to do it. Plus, this one's going to be set in rural America, which is hilarious, since I live in Indiana, and I used to live in a very rural part of Indiana where, like, no one has ever heard of before. So, yeah. And that part of America also that it's set in is actually a really geographically interesting part of America. Unlike the area that I live, the Midwest, which is just flat, boring nothing most of the time. So I think it's got some potential, actually. I want to see where it goes. I want to see if they evolve the shooting a little bit, if they have an interesting cadre of weapons. They generally have a fairly large variety that are highly customizable and stuff like that. I've been a fan of Far Cry since Crytek actually owned the IP. I remember playing Far Cry Instinct's Predator with my friends, and we would trade off making maps with each other and then split screening in the maps, and we'd always have a big floating tank up in the air as like a running joke with each other and making each other laugh like idiots. It was good. And there's gonna be some interesting, probably almost Wolfenstein 2-esque manufactured controversy because of the antagonists in Far Cry 5 being almost Scientology-esque religious nutjobs, which I'm looking forward to. So yeah, I definitely would like to play that. Also, another release sooner than that one is Final Fantasy 15. I would also really like to cover that, depending on what people think. I really enjoyed Final Fantasy 15. I played it quite a bit on the old how do I webcam? The old PS4 Pro right there. There's a cat meowing in the distance. I have not played any of the DLCs for it. I know nothing about them or how they work. I haven't actually beaten Final Fantasy 15. I've played about halfway through, but I really, really liked it. It's a really cozy game to settle into. Just the driving and the exploring the pretty large world and the side quests and the hunts, and it was almost like Final Fantasy 12 plus, if that makes any sense. This is the way that it felt to play, and I really enjoyed that. And I kind of feel like I really need that right now with all the crap that's been happening in my life. I kind of need that cozy feeling again, and I really want to play it on PC. And it seems like a genuinely good deal because it's $50, I believe. I have Steam up right now, and I just look. It is $50. Which seems great because the original release was $60, and then each DLC was what, 15, and there were 3 of them, and then the multiplayer expansion was free. So that seems really good. Plus there's extra content in this version and it's free. That seems like a really nice deal, honestly. And it is also like 100 fucking gigabytes though. Like, why is it that big? Does it need to be that big? I mean, are we experiencing like a progression of the problem we've had for a couple of years now, where just because Blu-rays and other digital downloads and stuff exist, that we're having like uncompressed texture and audio file issues from consoles bleeding over to PC download sizes? Probably that, combined with the fact that it's a Final Fantasy game, so we're getting like huge cutscenes and just the textures are kind of big anyway. Yeah, probably that. That's huge. 100 gigabytes is massive. Comcast is probably just gonna like shoot me. They're gonna like send a hit squad or something as soon as I try and download that. If I ever actually get it. I would like to try it. I really would. And then of course there's Vermintide 2, which is Vermintide 2. And I want that. in my body, because the first Vermintide was awesome. It was a really interesting take on the Left 4 Dead formula with Warhammer Fantasy elements and killing Skaven. What wouldn't you want about that? And Vermintide 2 is looking to be that, but better. They've added chaos, they have improved all of the classes and added a lot to them. The Bright Wizard looks awesome now. I love the Bright Wizard in the original, and now they have, like, increased its amazingness, like, tenfold. They've added chaos, and they put chaos in there. It's... yeah. I definitely want to try Vermintide 2. Maybe I can get some co-op going or something. And it's not too expensive. I think that might be one I definitely, like, try very hard to cover. How good does it run, though? I don't know. I'm not sure. It comes out, like, tomorrow, doesn't it? March 8th? That's not tomorrow. At time of recording. That's Thursday. I want to play that pretty badly. So yeah, there's some really good stuff that should be coming out quite soon, and there's a lot of it. But those are the kind of big names right now. And there's also, of course, Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is out now, that I would very much like to try, but I'm kind of waiting on it because it's a full $60 and it currently is broken for a lot of people. But despite its brokenness, is apparently a genuinely really compelling, very enjoyable game. And I would love to actually try it, but I know next to nothing about it. Is it first person? Is it third person? Like, even the basic facts of how you play the game, I know almost nothing about. It's just that it seems so interesting that I would really like to try it. But the $60 price tag, plus the fact that I don't think... what the hell, cat? That I don't think the big patch to fix some of the major issues has come out yet. It's pushing me away from even thinking about trying it right now. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been thinking about currently. And if you guys have any suggestions or recommendations about those thoughts or questions or anything else, feel free to feel free to talk about it. I suppose that's that. I have a whole bunch of other medical stuff to go. I have, like, freaking everything. I've got everything from urology appointments to neurology appointments to psychiatry to x-rays. It's really busy, but I'm going to take it to do what I can to get my channel going, because I love doing this and I want to keep doing it and I want to get bigger and better. And yeah, thanks for watching, and buy Japanese sodas. I'll see you guys next time.